Hello and welcome to the Pipnotic Symposium for the 19th of June 2018. First of all, my apologies for not getting more of these out, but I've been absolutely buried in visits to the embassy and visas and packing and all sorts of stuff, so we're pretty underwater at the moment, but we bought some tickets. We're leaving for Indonesia on the 11th of July, so things are looking bright. Okay, so let's have a quick look at some material. As you all know, I've been working a lot on this algorithmic trader, which I hope to release within the community before too long. It's doing some pretty remarkable things, and I'm making two different versions. I will probably release the one until I'm comfortable with the other one. The version that I'll be releasing is very, very nice indeed. It's doing some pretty phenomenal things. If we have a look at the one that I will likely release, or I'm going to release it, it's this one here, and what it's doing is it's looking for a price to retrace, then it's looking for a move away from an area, and then it's looking to cascade orders beyond that retracement. And so it's pretty much looking for highs for a certain combination of parameters. It seems to be working pretty good, and so yeah, I'm doing a lot of back testing and forward testing on a bunch of demo accounts, and I have this running on a live account, and I'm going to show the results in just a second on both of those, and it seems to be going pretty good on multiple time frames. Volker, one of the members, is also doing a lot of testing himself, and he has some interesting insights as well, which is great. And so I think that'll be pretty good. All the back testing that Volker's doing and the testing that I'm doing, the forward testing, I think we'll be able to provide some pretty insightful parameters to ensure that the robot is trading effectively. It's not something that I recommend you put on a live account, but it's certainly something I think that you should put on demo account and watch and see how it goes. And perhaps you can, if you feel comfortable what you see on the demo account, then you can mirror the same trades on your live account if you feel the need to do so. But this is an experimental tool. It's released for entertainment purposes, and I think I'll probably leave it at that. The only reason I'm running on a live account is because I want the robot to run on live market conditions, because this is how I think that we're going to get the best data and the best real market conditions to play with. It's looking pretty exciting for sure. Okay, so if we have a look at all of the trades that the robot has put on since it started trading on this particular demo account, we have something that looks like this. It's put on 73 trades on this particular account, and the reason I started it on a new account was because that there's someone that wants to see a track record, and so I've had to kind of start from the beginning. But this is what's been doing. We have here 73 trades for this particular batch so far. We have 88% winners for short positions and 100% winners on the long positions. The reason that this one is not 100% is because I was closing pending orders and accidentally clicked on a couple of trades that were open. So this is why we have a negative here. Profit factor is 54, which is pretty staggering. I also have accounts running where the profit factor is like over 11,000, and so there's something weird going on in the calculations there, so I'm not sure. I don't trust this value so much. But here we have a largest profit trade is $102, loss trade 16, average profit trade 46, average loss trade, let me turn this off, is just under 12. So things are looking pretty good, so I'm liking what I'm seeing. And if we have a look at the live account, this is just a small, it's a $1,000 account. I switched it on here a couple of weeks ago, and it's doing pretty good. Here we have a more realistic profit factor. We've done 115 trades. We have the same kind of problem here where I was closing out pending orders and clicked on those, but it's doing some pretty good things, as you can see here. So we'll have to wait and see. The main issue with the robot is overexposing yourself to a market. And if we have a look at what that means, I mean, if we have a look, sorry, let's put the robot on. I mean, here you can see that we have an awful lot of currency pairs that we can trade. We have tons. Here we have all 28 of the symbols that we have available, and so you can narrow this down and say, well, I only want to trade 4 pairs or 5 pairs, and that's just fine as well. But if you run it in its default behavior and you have position sizes that are too big, well, then it's going to go completely mental, and so you have to be very careful in that regard. But I'm going to make a video where I explain exactly what to do and to ensure that you're not overexposed to huge swings, just to make sure that your account can manage it. I mean, I have demo account with $1 million and demo account with 5 million, and on the $5 million account I'm doing positions of 1/2 standard lots, and it's opening between 20 and 100 of those at a time, and so those are out there and they're floating in the market, and there are no stops on this particular version of the robot. And so if something happens that's crazy, I mean, you have to have enough equity in the account to absorb these huge swings without getting a margin call, without getting closed out, which is why on the small account that I have, the $1,000 live account, I am using micro lots, of course, and I'm scrutinizing the entries so that it's looking for incredibly high swaps. So it's looking for positive swaps, and so it has to be at least 4.0, which is very high. So if I switch this on, it's going to find out of the 28 currency pairs that it's eyeballing or analyzing, it's going to find maybe 16 of those that will fulfill this swap requirement. So it's only going to be trading swap positive positions, but you can of course set this to 0, and then it's going to trade everything just as long as you're not bleeding every night when the clocks strike midnight. Okay, so I'm looking at a couple of filters as well and some other things, so it's still work in progress, but I think just for the sake of entertainment I might push this out here within the next couple of months, just so you guys can have a look. Also, I'm moving here on the 11th, and so I mean, we're pretty swamped until then, so I don't think I'll have time to be able to push it out, but it looks pretty promising. I've been doing a lot of back testing. I can show you some of the results, the back testing here. This is on one version here. Let's have a look. 30 trades, profit of about 237, which is pretty good. A drawdown of under 10%, which is lovely. So I like that very much. And so yeah, I mean, there's a lot of interesting things going on. There are quite a few parameters, and so it's nice to be able to automate the whole process so that we find the optimal parameters for a given currency pair. And in the MT4 backtest, you can only test one currency pair at a time. So this is the US dollar, Canadian dollar, and so if you want to do it for all 28 pairs, then you have to run simulations. So you have to do 10,496 times 28, and so the number gets huge. And so I just bought a big laptop, so I'm doing this stuff pretty quickly, but still it takes a lot of time to go through all of these different simulations. But it's fun, and so it's no trouble at all. One of the other versions I'm looking at, I'm just going to switch it on here so you can see it in action. We'll turn that off. What do we have here? It's going to turn, close all these. See, this is what I was doing. Going to close all these. These are the pendings it has, and this is what happened when I clicked out, because as you can see, this one here went up like that. Oh, sorry, this is actually on the VPS server, so I'm not going to get a lot of luck doing that. I'm just going to log on to another account. I'll take this one. So I'm going to close all of these out. Okay, so those are all closed. And if I've got two versions of this robot. I mean, I've got the one that's looking at the highs and the lows, and the other one that's looking at supply and demand. The supply and demand is looking at the indicator, more or less, and it's looking for areas that are qualified by the software. So if we push this one on here, we say good, you'll recognize all of these settings from the indicator. So we can say we want swaps to be very high. We're on a big account. What's this, $5 million? So we're going to say we want to do half a standard lot per position. We want to trade 2 positions. We want to trade the 4-hour time frame. Let's say we'll do the 1 hour. Stops, we don't want to use those for the time being. Again, you can see, well, I want you to do this on a demo account because there's no stops, and so you can get massive exposure in the event of some big news. Okay, we have risk reward ratio. These are the ones that you'll know from the indicator. These are the kind of the standard ones that I like. And then I'm going to tell it to trade everything. I'm going to say allow trading, open, and then I'm going to say, so let's make sure I put on the 1 hour. I did. I'm going to say go. So I do this, and then it starts opening all these pending orders. And this information here, the comment, is debugging information because I want to know what time frame, the release, the imbalance information. So this is all information that I can use when I'm looking at different trades. And so if we just have a look at some of these positions, if we go like that, you can see it's put it up just above this one here. Let me go look here. Be putting it up just below this one here. We put it up just below this one here. So you see it's doing pretty much what you can expect. And here we have this one here. I think the indicator has a different configuration than the robot here a little bit. The Euro franc. You got this one here. So you can see it's doing exactly this. So pretty simple stuff, and it's expiring the orders as well. So after a period of, let's have a look, 20 periods, so 20 hours, then these orders will expire. The robot will still be running, and then it'll reopen new orders located at new areas of supply and demand on the chart. And so it's important that they expire, because if they're not expiring, they're going to be in there forever. And then if they're really far away from price, well, then the robot will never open any new trades, and so they have to expire in order for the robot to be able to identify new trading opportunities. Otherwise, it won't do anything. We have a look here. You can see we're trading just below here. Yeah, so I think you get the idea of what it's doing. It's doing some pretty cool stuff. We missed this entry. Sorry, this is going to be a second time back, but you can see the price didn't quite come up to the low of this box. Yeah, so that's what we have there. So pretty interesting. As you can see as well, these are not located at the same price, and so what we can see here is we're actually, if I just go for fun, say 6, I say okay, you can see it's gonna start doing a bunch more orders, and you'll see in a second this one we're going to get 4 more orders above these here. Let's give it a second to run the algo. Okay, there they are. So now they jumped up here, and you can see that the first one is at the bottom of the area, the second one is the bottom one plus a little bit, and so the higher the number of positions, the deeper into the area it'll go. So it's not putting them over here, so each time you open a new order, it's getting a better price, which is good, which is very, very important. And so you can see we have a bunch of orders here on the euro pound, and it's not putting them all here. It's ensuring that every time price comes up to the area, you're getting a good price, a good price on this one here, which is really important. We have another one here. These are pretty tight. You can see that they're all nested just above this area here. So it's looking pretty cool. Very, very interesting indeed. Good. And so it's a pretty exciting project. So I shan't talk more about the robot. I'll leave that alone for now, and we will move on. Before I do so, the reason I am a little bit cautious about releasing this, and I'm going to release it as a demo-only trading robot, is due to liability issues. I have to speak to a lawyer before I do this, just to make sure that I'm not in violation of any regulation, because I really don't want to be. So this is kind of a toy. It's going to be entertainment only, and yeah, it'll be a fun little project for that reason, but I can't release it as an automated trading robot because I'm not licensed or registered anywhere to be giving out any kind of trading advice, and so that would absolutely positively be in violation of these regulative bodies. Good. Okay, let's find a pair and have a look. Let's do an analysis. Let's do the majors first of all. So if we start, I can hear my little rugrat on his way up the stairs, so I'll have to cut this off very shortly. So if we have a look here, ideally we want to identify what's driving price. You go to the higher time frames here and you can see what's going on. You can see that we have a very clear downtrend. The robot's looking to sell here. So if you go down here and you have a look at why, you can see that price had a nice bounce off this 4-hour area of supply. We had a test there, then price dumped. Why is this one important? This is really important because it managed to take out the low here. And this is important because this area tested this. So we had rally, accumulation, rally, price wriggled down. We tested this area here. So we had demand, a test to it, price came down, accumulated, and then went down. So this area is a macro supply, macro because it's less than the currently active time frame, was the one that caused price to move through this area of demand. So this is when you want to identify your area to sell. So you have to identify areas of supply and demand that cause some kind of damage to market structure. Here we had demand, it was tested once, price moved down to it, accumulated short orders just above it, and then cut through. This is where you want to target here. If we go to another time frame, we have a look at something different.